everyone. How are y'all doing? So give me just a second so I can do a little click here. There he is.
Hi.
Hello. How are
Hi.
you?
Hello, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you ladies?
We're doing
Wonderful.
awesome. We are
Good, good.
so excited to have a good old Southern thing going on today.
Well,
Woo-wee.
good. I'm glad. I'm definitely Southern, I guess you would say. Being from the bluegrass, I guess we kind of start the Southern belt,
Right.
so to speak. So
Mhm,
now, are
mhm.
you girls farther down south?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I'm in Mississippi.
And I'm from
definitely.
Texas.
That's right, Texas. That's right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've never been to Texas, so
Well, I've only flown through Kentucky, but it's one of my favorite states. It really is outside of Texas.
yeah,
I've
we do
been there
have
one
parts
time.
one time
One
in
time.
Kentucky. Well, I've
Mhm.
never been to Texas or Mississippi, so that's a trip that I guess I need to put on my bucket list, I guess
Oh,
you would
Well,
yes.
say.
it
Yes,
wouldn't hurt you
yes.
none. It
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't hurt you a bit. We'd say, "Come
Wouldn't
on
hurt you.
down."
I'd probably fit in with Mississippians quite a bit, but
Mm-hmm.
Mhm, mhm.
I don't know. Texas is different. Texas has different.
Yeah, they kind of got some weird twangs going on sometimes.
Oh, well.
Texas is hot. I've
Yeah,
been
they're
told.
hot.
No, I'm that's that like I think my cousins and them they went to Austin on a choir trip. I think it was
Mm-hmm.
Austin on a choir trip, and
Right.
apparently it was so hot they had to Uber everything. So
Oh,
you
my
know
goodness.
Ooh.
it was just so hot. I think it was over 100 every day they were there. So
Oh, they had to have
Oh
gone in
my
the middle or late summer
goodness.
then.
yeah, they went like in the mid of August, and it was
Oh, yeah.
really pretty
Oh,
hot for
very
them.
hot. Very,
So
very hot.
Yeah.
I think it was
Well,
a rude awakening. So
yeah. Well, let's take just a minute to check to see who is here.
sure.
There is my Queen of the Corn, Miss Leslie,
Yep,
and
that's all
Michelle from
right.
Kansas.
Good
Let's
morning.
see. And Invita. Ladies, I'm so happy that you're here with us today.
Definitely.
There's our little Carrie, Jetton number one. And
Mhm.
Darlene had a birthday yesterday, folks. She is
Wow.
70 years young. What a lot of
Woo.
living. I
Lots
bet,
of living.
Darlene, you have got some stories you could share with us. And there's
I
my
know.
froggy.
Yes. Froggy went a knitting.
Mm-hmm. Good morning, Jay. How are you, sweetheart? And there's my crafting with Amy. She makes the most beautiful tatted crosses, folks.
Oh,
You need to hook her up.
that's not
Yeah,
all beautiful she makes. That's not all, but she has got some
Do you have one,
gorgeous.
John Boy?
yeah. She made. I'm pretty sure it was her that made me this cross to put in my
Mm-hmm.
Bible, because I got my Bible right here, and then I have
Right.
my. Well, I had it. I'll have to go back and see where I had this at. So
Right. There's Nammy G. How are you, sweetheart? You've got yours too?
Yep. Just got mine the other day. It's so
Oh,
beautiful.
well,
oh, very love that one.
mine is in my study Bible right over here. In fact, I kept three of the ones, or I had three of the ones that I asked Amy to make for Warren's teachers back at Christmas. He has grown up always giving all of his teachers some little something for Christmas. And this year, I kind of got behind in things that I wanted to do. And so I asked Amy if she would crochet me up some, and she did excuse me, not crochet, tat.
Cat.
So she tatted me up some, and the teachers were, even the men, his man teachers were just so blown away at the delicacy of it. And
Yes.
I know one of them, which is his golf coach, goes to our same church. And when he showed up at church after Christmas, he showed Warren, he said, I want you to see where your Christmas gift is. And it was right there in his Bible that looks like about the same shape as yours, John Boy.
Mm-hmm.
What's that? My
Uh,
Bible.
yeah, looks like it's very nice and worn.
Yeah, it's worn out. I got tape on. One of my subscribers sent me a Thompson chain, and I'm afraid to look at it because it's like the bougie Bible, because
Oh, uh-huh.
but I've read out of it a little bit, but I don't. I'm kind of going to keep that in case once this one dies,
Right,
So
Yeah.
right.
keep it on the
Yeah.
back
Uh,
burner
Well, you
there.
get used to your own. You kind of. I don't know if it's
Yeah,
just because you've been to a certain spot, maybe in it so many times that you can just pick it up, hold it by the edges like this, and just turn it loose, and it just opens to that page
yeah.
every time.
yep,
You know,
yep,
You,
and
you
yep.
you're
it's right
right.
where you need it to be. It just seems like it knows right what it wants to do.
Right,
Yep,
Right.
right.
yep, yep.
There is Miss Frozen and hello, Wicked. How are you doing?
Hello, Frozen Angela
Everybody
and
is
Miss
saying
Piggy
howdy,
Green.
howdy to John Boy.
Yep,
I
yep.
won't
Yes, and
speak
to
over
each
you ladies.
other.
I'll just wave. Just wave.
There's Mimi's Crochet. Angela, how are you, sweetie?
Hello, Angela.
And there's Carrie, my yarny elephant. I love my Carrie.
Yes, love us some Carrie.
Miss
All
Carrie's a
right.
Yes.
sweetie.
Rita, my little sister, how are you doing, sweetheart?
Rita, how are
I
you
miss you so
feeling?
much.
We miss seeing you.
Yes.
It's
You
been
know,
so long.
uh, John Boy talking about the type of Bible you have. I was raised with the good old King James Version.
Yep,
And I
Yeah.
mean, I
red
I have
letter.
I have some study Bibles, that I use. And my mom one year for my birthday gave me the woman's Bible that I really use a lot when I'm studying. But when I just want to sit down and read, I always go back to my good old King James. Well, a couple of
Yeah.
Christmases ago, my husband bought for me what's called the New King James Version,
Uh-huh.
and it really is nice. They really haven't changed too much of the wording. I mean, you can put the King James and the New King James side by side, and really about the only thing I have found that they've changed is they've changed the thee, thous, and those,
Uh-huh.
to you and me and I and that kind of
Right.
thing. But I'm still a good old King James version girl.
Yeah.
Just always will be.
Me too.
But
Yeah.
anyways,
So how in the world are you, John Boy?
I'm doing good. I'm doing really well. It's good seeing you girls. So now I can put Connie with the face and Maureen with the face because I think I was getting, well, no, I wouldn't get Maureen mixed up, but I was getting Connie mixed up with
oh,
someone else. So,
uh-huh.
so Connie, which one is my crochet story?
Maureen,
That's Marie.
Maureen. Okay. And then
Uh-huh.
you're all homemade. Are you Connie
All,
Wagner?
handmade.
all handmade.
All handmade. And you're Connie Wagner, right? Or no?
White.
White.
White. Who's Connie
White.
Wagner? There's a Connie Wagner in the Yarny community. I don't know.
Boy, you keep up better with names than I do.
I can't do the last
It
names. That's
it's
true.
it's actually taken me a while. I mean, to figure out everybody's name, and I still get them mixed up. And
Right.
I apologize.
Well, I do
I do
better with
too.
their channel names than I do
Yeah.
with their formal name. Sometimes even here, even though I've seen Frozen show up lots of times, sometimes I have to sit there and say, it's Angela. Yes, I know that one's Angela, but just every once in a while, the name just not there in the noggin, and it ain't going to come out. So
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, I
anyway,
finally have learned Yarn Barf. Her name is Christy, I think.
Yes.
Christy
right.
or Christy?
Christy.
I call her
Chri-
Christy.
i- Is it Christy with the T,
Hmm.
Christy? Okay.
Uh-huh.
Because
Hmm.
I was calling her Chrissy for the longest time, and she never did correct me. But
She don't care.
Hmm.
She don't
She's
yeah, I
care.
probably
kind,
like the rest of us, as long
I
as you
kind
call
of,
me for dinner.
yeah, I kind of got that a little bit, So
Yes, there's Connie at Just Another Stitch.
Hmm.
right,
So
that's the one.
there's that Connie, but I don't know
Yeah,
her last name either. So
Right.
I'm not 100% sure, but I know there's a Connie Wagner in our community.
Hmm.
So
it could be
Right.
her. Could be her.
Yeah.
it could
So
be.
before we get into too much chatting, how is everybody doing? This is Friday, so I'm kind of wondering what kind of plans do you have for the weekend? Are you going to try to get in some crochet? Are you going to try to get out and enjoy this beautiful weather? Now, where I'm at in I guess you could say middle East Coast Florida at the moment, it is 77 degrees and it is supposed to be gorgeous all weekend long. So I'm looking at some beach time. I'm hoping to be able to get Lacey out there and let her run up and down the beach and tire her out.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. No,
So what's your
it's
weather
70.
like where you're at, Connie?
It's 70 here, and it's partly cloudy the sun's shining right this minute, but it's supposed to be some more bad thunderstorms later on this evening. So it'll probably rain and be nasty and thunder and lightning and all that stuff, But hey, I love a good storm. Get your blood pumping.
Yeah. Someone, boy, what are you expecting?
Right now, I think it's in the mid 50s, and we're under a flash flood advisory until 2 p.m. tomorrow, Saturday at 2 p.m.
You know, I really wish you guys wouldn't hold on to all this rain. I mean, Texas really could use some of it, especially out where I live.
Well, I could send you some of mine. It wouldn't hurt nothing for us to get rid of it for a little while. You step out in my yard, you like stepping on a sponge. You just mush.
Right. Well, my daddy lives just south of Dallas. And I always tell him, Daddy, it's building up out here and it's going to be dumping on you in a day or two. And he says, okay, bring it on. And I'm like, no, I want it to stay here. We need some water bad.
Yeah.
I guess we're going to have to do a prayer chain walk around the county courthouse again.
Yeah. But wouldn't hurt nothing.
Nope.
Sure don't hurt a thing.
Yeah.
Well, I've got some surprises that I'm working on for the weekend. I can't show them.
Connie?
There's too many ding-dang birthdays this month. You know how that works. I can't show it.
Right.
Got to be a surprise birthday present. It's not no good if it ain't a surprise.
Right. So, there's Jenny T. How are you, sweetheart?
I can show something I just got and show it off real quick.
Okay, do that. Let's see.
Miss Carrie the Yarny Elephant and Miss Amy from Crochet Crafts and More with Amy. I'd get it right. Amy does mosaics. Some of the most gorgeous things you ever laid your eyes on. I'm talking. And she happened to be doing one for Miss Bag a Day, Crystal. And it was gorgeous. I mean, gorgeous. And of course, she was showing it off as she worked on it. And I just, off the top of my head, said, now, when you get through with that one, I'd love for you to be able to make me one. I'll get the yarn together and I'll buy the yarn if I send it to you. Would you make me one? And she said, why, yeah, just send it on. Well, Miss Carrie the Yarny Elephant decided that I wasn't saving the money up to buy the yarn fast enough. So she got it and sent it to me.
Well.
And Miss Amy.
We make you big. Nope, not me.
That's
she made
beautiful.
This right here.
I'm trying to make you big.
Okay. I'll give you just a second.
How do I do that?
Oh, wow.
That I don't know.
All right, Froggy, this is when I need you.
There we go.
There we go. Look at this. Isn't it gorgeous?
This thing
that
is as tall as I can hold it up. I mean, tall. That way.
Wow.
And it is as long as I can hold it. Longer than I can hold it. This way. But look how beautiful. All that mosaic work she put into that for me.
That is just beautiful.
Lord made me cry like a little bit baby. It's beautiful. And it's so warm and thick. Oh, I love it. Love it. These girls in this yarny community, I'm telling you, it's just unreal,
Right.
unreal. So,
Okay.
With their talent, I
yes,
admire
Mhm.
them.
and they're giving. They're giving. She just gave it to me, John Boy. Just
I know. It's
wouldn't
they're
let me
very
pay her
giving.
nothing. Oh, it's just
Well, I've got to show you something that I got for my birthday, and it was very well hidden because I believe Leslie got the yarn for it. Let me find my label over here.
yeah, yeah.
Leslie of the Corn. I call her Queen of the Corn. This is called Heart on Fiber. It's
That's the
hand
name of
dyed with lots of love.
that's the name of the company, Maureen. The
Yes,
Hearts on Fiber. That's not the
and
name of the yarn.
no, 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 no. It
Okay.
is a sock weight, 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, and 10% nylon.
It
Now,
was some bougie
this
stuff.
is called
Mhm.
Big Sister. And this is what Connie made for me. Let me pull it up. Come on, make
You
me
want to get
big.
big now?
There we go.
Yeah.
This is a beautiful. First, I want to just kind of wad it up together and let you see all the gorgeous colors.
They're
Is that
so
not
pretty.
pretty?
That is beautiful.
And
I
folks,
love that color.
it is so soft. I am not kidding you. And it is big because they all know that I like to have my tushy covered, not only by my shirts, my tops, skirts, but also whenever I wear
If she
my
wears a shawl, she wanted her
shawl. So I'm going
she
to
wanted
stand
her
up. You're not going to
behind
be able to
covered.
see all of it, but it most definitely covers Maureen's tushy, which makes me extremely happy. And I had to take my dogs to the vet on my birthday. And so I was very, very happy to wear it in there. And I got so many compliments. Everybody's like,
Mhm.
"Oh, did you make that?" And I'm like, "No, one of my Yarny sisters, well, actually two, one bought the yarn, one put it together, and this is what I got." So,
Yep, yep. I sat here working on it. We was in Zoom, and I had it off down here, hiding it. I'd be working up a storm, and Maureen would come in, and I'd go whoop.
yep, yep. So there's no telling who's next on the list as to be receiving a Connie
That's
hug,
right.
but
Can't never tell. Can't
that's
never
right. Can't never tell. Can't never
tell.
tell.
But I do. I love making them. I really do.
Hmm.
I love making shawls. That's
Right.
between that and a lap throw.
Right.
A good couch throw.
Hmm.
That's my number one go tos. A shawl or a couch throw.
Yeah.
I
What is
love
your
making them.
favorite thing to crochet or to do you knit, John Boy?
No, I don't knit yet, but if I keep watching Miss Linda Simpson, I'm going to soon. Her and Miss Kelly
Sure.
from I Bring It, and
Hmm.
then
Hmm.
Yep.
Miss Bridget from I
Right.
Yes.
think Queen Bridget.
Right.
I've been watching them, and if I keep watching them, I'm gonna be knitting soon. But my favorite thing to make is just something short and sweet,
Right.
like a washcloth. And
Hmm.
Yep.
but now I can understand Connie when she said about the shawls; those are very satisfying. They don't really take long to make. You
No.
know,
No, not a long time. No.
no.
Mm-mm.
But my favorite
Compared
shawl
to
to
things
make,
today.
is that the virus shawl. I like to make those. Those are kind of gone out of
Yes.
style, I think, but
But they're
I
Oh,
still
so
like that pattern.
pretty.
They
I
are
So
don't think a
pretty.
pattern ever goes out of style,
I
really.
don't either.
Well, I haven't seen them in a while in the yarny community like they were at
Oh,
first.
oh,
That's why I'm saying, well, they may have went out of style. So,
mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
but
they caught on. They caught on real quick, and they blowed up real quick, and
yeah,
I think they left just about as quick.
Well, I think
right.
that
But
happens
it's
with just
sad. They're
about.
pretty.
I think that happens with just about any pattern or collection of stitches, that folks put together. It's
Yeah,
something new. Everybody does one, and then boom, we're on to the next thing.
yeah.
Um, but I really don't think any particular stitch pattern or style goes. I mean, you know what I'm trying to say. It
Yeah,
doesn't go
it
Uh-huh.
out
goes
of
completely
style.
off. No.
Um,
Right.
Yeah. Yep. I just get so many of them. I don't have enough time to do them all.
Oh yeah. Well, it's like you
Now,
done, boy, doing that pretty granny square.
yeah,
Everybody,
I'm
just
doing
about
that 100-day
everybody
thing.
knows how to make a little granny square, you know.
Yeah, and
And
they're so
and every now
satisfying.
and then, everybody will say, "Ooh, I'm not ever making another one," you know. And then they'll get back into it. They go to making 100 of them. So,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now I got a question for you ladies, for
Okay.
both of you, and I want to hear what you got to say. When you're watching a movie and you see someone with a crocheted hat or a crocheted scarf or a shawl, do you get excited and wonder, I wonder who made it? I wonder, did the production company buy it from a, do they have a
Yep.
contract? All that stuff goes through
yep.
my mind. I was like, I wonder who made that. Is
I
it one of
wonder
my
whose
Yarny
couch they
sisters?
got it off of.
Yep.
Whose
You know
couch they
what?
got it off of.
I think, well, is it one of the Yarny sisters? But I'll say one thing: if one of us got an offer from Hollywood, if they
Ooh,
wanted to buy a shawl, we'd know. Just
Oh
somebody
yeah.
tell her, we'd know.
We would
I
be
wouldn't be
hooting
able
and
to not tell
hollering.
everybody. I would have to holler it all over everywhere. I wouldn't be
Yeah.
able to
Oh,
keep a secret.
I, I sold my shawl to Hollywood.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Me so tickled. Wish you're not
Oh,
would.
it would. It would. They probably buy you the yarn and then give you pretty decent money to make it. I don't, because
I
I've
know
seen
Well,
them.
you.
I would hope so, but um, a week or so ago, Wayne and I were down on Jensen Beach, and where we had to park the car, we had to walk a couple of blocks. And every Thursday night, there on their main street, they have what they call Mardi Gras. They do it all from early spring all the way through till about the last of August. And it's only
Wow.
on Thursdays. And people dress up like Mardi Gras. They have people pop up with little tents everywhere and they have their stuff. And I walked by this young lady. Well, not a young lady. I'm going to say a grandma. Okay. And she had out some beautiful little baby blankets. I
Mhm.
am not kidding you. I picked them up. They were so soft and just gorgeous. She
Oh.
had them from little bitty sizes to great big sizes. And being a crocheter and knowing how much yarn costs now, folks, and how
Morning,
long it
Tiffany.
takes to make these items, her
Mm.
biggest little baby Afghan, she was selling for $15. It broke my
Wow.
heart.
Oh my
It
goodness. That
really
don't
did.
even cover the yarn hardly.
No. It broke my heart. I was
Oh
sitting there
man.
holding it and she said, "Do you like it?" I said, "Sweetheart, I love it, but I want you to know I'm a crocheter as well. And it
Mhm.
breaks my heart to know the cost, the time, and the love you put into this little blanket, and you're only asking $15." And she said, "Well, sometimes you just gotta put the price out there that people are willing to pay." And I said, "I
That's true.
understand that, but I just want you to know that I know the love and the work that went into this." So, yes,
Yeah.
I did buy her little $15 blanket, but I paid her much more for it.
Oh.
I'm not going to tell you how much, only
Very
because, like I
good.
said, we all
Yeah.
know what that kind of item cost.
Right.
And that's
Oh, the
because
time.
here in about 6 weeks, we are going to have another great grand nephew
Oh.
supposed to make his appearance. But you know how babies
Ooh,
are, they
Yeah.
have their
they
own
get it
time.
when they do.
Yep, yep. So it's already on its way to Matthew when he makes his appearance in the world.
Oh.
Yeah.
And you can't pay for all the prayers that you put into something that you love doing.
Oh yeah.
You
Oh
know,
yeah.
just you don't even really think about it if you're a Christian person. You
Yeah.
don't even really think about doing it. But as you're doing something with your hands that you love doing, I've caught myself a million times, just talking to Jesus, just
Yep.
praying,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yep.
praying over whoever I was making that for, or you know,
Not even
wishing
really
them good
knowing who it
wishes and that type thing. But
mm-hmm.
it still there's a lot of time goes into stuff like
That's
that.
right.
People don't
Yeah.
realize it.
Yeah. Well, John Boy, I have a question for you. I
Sure.
want to know, it's a two-parter.
Okay.
First, who got you into crocheting? And two, how long have you been crocheting? Because I know your channel is not that old yet. It's still a baby.
Yeah, I still got a baby channel. Well, back in the 70s, way back in those days, I saw
Mm-hmm.
my mom. She was trying to teach my cousin Michelle and my sister Renee how to crochet. I think it was like the foundation chain. And
Right.
the only thing I did was just sit and watch.
Uh-huh.
Um, but I, it really took off for me when I was in high school. My dad's baby sister, her name was Jayla, but we called her Aunt Jay Lee.
Mm-hmm.
She was a multitasker. She could have a cup of coffee in one hand, a cigarette in the other, a crochet hook in her jaw, and a ball of yarn, and she'd just bring it all in and sit at the table with us. And one night, I mean, she could eat, smoke, drink, you name it, drive. I mean, she was very good at multitasking.
Mm-hmm.
So she brought her little yarn and her hook and sat at the kitchen table, and I really enjoyed watching her. She had her elbows on the table just like
Mm-hmm.
me, but now she crocheted like this, like
Yes,
the pencil, I
that's the
think
way
that's
I
what you call.
crochet.
Yeah.
I can't stand that way. That's how she taught me. And then when I got on YouTube, I started doing this, and I call it the spoon, but
Yeah.
you all call it the knife. It's like
Yeah.
a man eating, that's
Mm-hmm.
how I
Yeah.
crochet. But yeah, once she taught me the double crochet, and she was making a bed doll at that time because that was in the 80s. It went
Yes,
Oh
on,
and they were
yeah.
when they
very
were big.
popular then. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I believe a bed doll was my first make. I'm not 100% sure,
Oh,
but it was
I
my
My
would
dad's sister
love to
goodness.
Renee.
see that. I'd love
I
to
and
see that.
yeah, I wish I still had that. And to be honest, I wish
Uh-huh.
my dad's sister Aunt Jaylee was still alive today to see this community,
Oh yeah.
because I can't say that she would have a channel, but I'd say she definitely support you all.
Oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Now
She'd enjoy
she,
everybody else's. Yeah.
yes, she would. And let me tell you, honey, when she went yarn shopping,
Just like the rest of us.
she retired from General Motors. She had a decent retirement back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh
honey,
yeah.
she didn't buy one skein.
No.
No. But I tell you what, I'll never forget. She, like I said, she was a smoker, and
Mm-hmm.
her favorite thing to make was like a 4x4 granny square with a. I've seen them on Bag a Day. Different channels have them. Like it was just a like a 3D flower, and they were
Mm-hmm.
only like
Yep.
4x4.
Yep.
And honey, I'll never forget. They owned a little country store once they retired up in Michigan, came back home to Eastern Kentucky, and she'd always have her chair there with when you'd walk into her little grocery store, she'd be
Uh-huh.
sitting and crocheting with her um Rottweiler, no, Doberman
Okay.
lady. I
Either
hated that
one.
dog. I hated that dog. But you could not touch her, even look at her, let alone, ask her about her yarn. But anywho, she would make the prettiest afghans. She made one for her room. She had it all in crocheted. It was the prettiest blue I'd ever seen. I haven't seen a blue like that. It wasn't a royal blue. It was more
Mm-hmm.
of a turquoise in a mix of royal blue
Uh-huh.
and white, and the
Uh-huh.
green petals and maybe like a yellow center for the flower.
Oh,
But
I bet
I
that was
mean,
gorgeous.
she was one of those bougie crocheters, and I mean, really, she was. And but she'd always. I hated the how she done this. She did not use scissors when she got done, like say how we get done on the end of our granny square,
Uh-huh.
and you'd have your yarn here and say, this
My
is the end of
book.
my granny square. She'd take that lighter, honey, and she'd take that yarn between her and she'd burn it with that. Instead of weaving in her ends, honey, she took her lighter and melted that yarn together, and you try to pull it apart and it wouldn't pull apart. Honey, I've tried to do that many times. I've tried to mimic her. It don't work for me, but it did for her. I
Oh,
Well,
don't
I'd
know.
have the whole thing set
I'm
on fire.
like,
me
are you kidding
too.
me? I'm like, I'd have myself set on fire, but
I
Yeah.
have sisters everywhere.
now, children, that's the truth. I wouldn't lie to you, but I'm telling you, she, like I said, she could multitask, but she made beautiful things. But I
Ooh.
hate it. She never had a pair of scissors with her when she was sitting down there in the old country store. She took that
Oh my
lighter,
goodness.
and that's how she cut her yarn. and weaved in her ends. She never weaved in her ends, and I was like, I don't get this. I don't get it. That's
Yeah.
something she never
Oh
taught
my
me. That's why I
gosh.
think I hate it so bad. If I would have, if I was taught at an early age to weave in my ends, I think I'd
Right.
like it a little bit better now. I don't know. Who knows?
No,
Nobody
probably
really
not.
likes it. Probably
Well,
not.
I think I would have been interested for her to teach you how to use the lighter and do it, and if
I,
nothing else, just to do it for show.
I well, actually, I don't know if she was just lazy or what, but she'd take that lighter, honey. She didn't have time. She got right on to that next granny square that, because she had like 4 or 5 balls of yarn, or we called them skeins. Now I was
Right.
corrected. The correct pronunciation is skein, but children where I was raised back home in the holler, I can't change it. It's
Nope.
a skein.
That's right.
And I mean, I had an English teacher to correct me, but I understand now. If I was, voted most likely to succeed or something, have to give a speech, I'd say it
Right.
correctly. I don't see that happening.
Mhm. Mhm.
I
Yeah,
understand that.
yeah.
I talk that way too, John Boy, so don't feel bad. Don't feel
Good.
like that.
I that way I don't feel alone. Like I'm like,
No,
okay,
don't you ain't never ever got to feel alone about
Nope.
talking country when you're around me. No,
right.
Yeah.
never, never.
I
You
know
know.
one of the. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, no, no. You go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, Miss Anita, the hillbilly
Mhm.
crocheter.
Yep.
She says she and I talk a lot because we're both from Eastern Kentucky,
Right.
and she understood what I meant. If
Oh
after, because I
yeah.
guess she read that comment where that English teacher corrected me in one of my
Mhm.
comments. I said, "Well, thank you so much. I do appreciate the knowledge." But
Right.
Oh
it
yes.
it's just a different dialect, a different way of pronouncing things. Just no
Mhm.
different than in the medical field. Tomato, tomato.
That's right.
Oh yes.
So
When
yeah.
uh
That's exactly right.
when I first officially started teaching, my first husband was in the oil field, and we started out in deep South Texas. And
Uh-huh.
my oldest daughter started school down around Carrizo Springs. It's kind of a little bit northwest of Laredo, so that kind of gives you an idea of how deep south we were in Texas.
Okay.
And so I started um doing mainly substitute teaching while I was, going to college, getting a few courses here, there, and yonder. And then we moved way up just west of Dallas in a town called Ranger. That's where the oil boom started for Texas, by the way, in case you wanted to know. Wasn't out in Midland and Odessa. Um,
Oh,
and at the time, I was teaching music in my home, the piano. And one of my oldest daughter's friends wanted to take lessons, so she did. And one day she came in and sat down and she said, "Before we get started, can I ask you a question?" I said, "Sure, sweetheart. What is it?" She says, "Why does Heather talk funny?" And then she reared back. She said, "In fact, you talk funny too." Well, I didn't know I talked funny. And I said, "Well, what do you mean by talking funny?" Now, please, I don't want anybody in here to take this wrong. All right. I'm just telling a story. And I'm very proud of being from Texas and the many places I have traveled in Texas. So, with
all
that
right.
said, she said, "Well, you both talk funny." And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" She said, "Well, you talk like you're Mexicans." And I said, "What?" And she said, "Yeah." And I'm thinking, do we sound that much different? I mean, I'm Texas. I'm a Texan.
Yeah.
How can
Yeah.
being in South Texas, the dialect there, be that much different than up around Dallas?
Because they're closer to the Mexican border.
That's right.
Mhm.
That's right. Now let me tell you another little story. So we're there for a while, and years go by. Now, by this point, I'm teaching and everything. And my second husband now had to go to Perryton for an EPA project. Now, Perryton is like way up there in the panhandle. In about 30 minutes or less, you can be in Oklahoma and then in Missouri,
Uh-huh.
you know,
Yep.
really, really quick.
Yep.
Mhm.
So while we were up there, all those folks wanted to know of course, most of them, they came down from Oklahoma to work. And they really tried to figure out what part of Texas I was from because I sounded funny from everybody
Uh-huh.
out there. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Now, my husband, Wayne, has the ability to very quickly adapt his speech to wherever he's at.
Yep.
So a lot of times folks listening to Wayne talk does not realize he's Texas through and through.
Uh-huh.
I'm not kidding you. But yeah, when I was in high school, I loved to read poetry. And one of the words that I will never, ever forget, in fact, every time I get ready to say it, I have to stop just a second, was the word pour. Think about it. I'm going to either pour a glass of water or I am poor in the pocketbook.
Mhm.
Do you hear any difference there? Pour and pour.
Between poor and poor.
There you go. My
Yeah.
English teacher must have sat with me for 5 minutes. Poor, poor. I had to say pure before I could say poor or poor. See, I still can't do it.
Right.
Anyways.
You know, that reminds me when my two little girls, when we were young, 30 some years ago, I was trying to teach my oldest daughter how to make those pronunciations so she could
Mm-hmm.
be proper. And and my wife, which she was a totally Eastern Kentucky, you
Mm-hmm.
cannot take the country out of the girl no matter where you
Right,
take her. You cannot. And don't even try. You're
right.
just wasting your time.
That's right.
So I was like, Tammy, it's not tournament. It's tournament.
Oh,
I'm
no, it's
going to
tournament.
teach. Is it tournament? Well,
It is
in
tournament.
other, see, at that time, I was thinking it was tournament. Like, you pour,
Yeah,
so I
uh-huh.
was trying to pronounce it like a bougie way. And I was trying to
Right,
teach my oldest daughter,
right,
it's tournament, not tournament, because
right.
they say turn instead of,
Uh-huh.
there's different ways, and so I just let that be. I'm so thankful that didn't last because it didn't last.
No,
but
no.
but yeah, it
I
I
was
know
don't.
all the proper words to say,
Mm-hmm.
and I can
yeah.
enunciate with the best of them.
I
I
can
I
too.
know.
do have a telephone voice when I want to,
Mm-hmm.
but that crap's for the birds.
That's right.
Well,
I don't like changing my voice or the way I talk
Mm-hmm.
or my accent or anything else for anybody because it's
yeah,
just
It's not
part
me.
of me. It's part of me. It's who I am.
right. You're basically a hypocrite when you do.
That's
Yes,
I
right.
mean, because you all know me. This is me on my channel when I make videos on my lives.
that's right.
I can't change my dialect. I Now my mom, she apparently I was her BFF, and I know I miss my mommy, and I loved my mom.
I
I
do too.
Um,
love my
she
mama.
told me so many different things. I was like, "Where do you come up with these stories? Who am I, your best friend?" But anyway, I was her John boy, and she'd get on that phone back in the day when there was only a landline. Now
Right,
you can just go boom and you're there with them.
right.
But she'd get on that phone on a Saturday morning and she'd talk so proper, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, "You're making me absolutely sick."
Right.
And
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say that that was my mom, but she'd say, "Hello." I'm like, "Now, mommy."
Who is this woman?
I know, like she went when I was in a high school and on the band trip. We went on a we always went to Knoxville, Tennessee every year on
Right.
our marching band trip. Long
Mm-hmm.
story short, she went with us one year and she got with the band mothers, the band Gopher mothers, and she said, "Oh, I'd love to have a good salad." I was like, "Now, mom, you don't talk like that at home. There ain't no use to talk like that here now." And those women scolded me, but well, they should have, because I should have been honorable,
Right.
respect my mother. But I just absolutely, that just drives me crazy when someone tries to be something that they're not.
Yep.
When I see you walking around 24/7 in your house shoes and your pink flannel gowns, and then you suddenly turn all bougie and go, "I'd love a good salad." I'm like, no,
No,
honey, that don't work with me. That don't haul.
Right.
no,
Please.
no,
Right.
no.
I'm just, this is me every day. Just, now if you are a proper person,
That's
and
fine.
That's
Oh yeah.
fine. I love it. But
I
don't
do
be a
too.
proper person and then try to act like John Boy. Howdy do. Come on now. That's just pure fake.
Yeah, they're just poking fun when they do
Yeah.
that.
But I don't know
It's
what my
just
mother
not
was
even
doing.
funny.
I guess she was just trying to be something that she totally wasn't. Or that's just, I mean, I have a aunt that does that too, still
Hmm.
today.
Oh
And
wow.
I
I
could,
do it
her,
sometimes. It depends on whom I'm around.
I
Right.
can't see
Because,
you being like that though. I
well,
mean,
it, my accent is real strong, and I
yeah,
understand that. I accept that. But there's a lot of times that people can't understand what I'm saying.
Right.
If I don't pronounce it
yeah,
correctly, if I don't
uh
slow
huh,
my tongue down enough to say the word properly,
uh huh,
then it doesn't come out properly.
yeah.
It
Right.
comes out hillbilly. That's all there is to
Well,
it.
maybe that's why I don't know if you've ever noticed in my videos, I'll spell it just in
Mm-hmm.
case.
Yep.
But
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
I'm not going to change. I don't want you girls to change. Y'all don't have to change for
Oh
me.
No,
Lord,
no.
no.
no. I
I'm too
mean,
old to start it now.
ain't
Me
that the
No,
too.
truth?
no.
Well, I'm not saying that you're old, but I'm talking about myself. I'm too
No,
old to.
I'm saying I'm old.
Yeah, well, you say it. Not, I didn't want to agree with you and say that, So,
Okay,
but yeah.
guys. I know that John Boy here is our guest, but I cannot pass up this opportunity, and I am so happy that she is wanting. She says, "Don't make me come up and tell my story,
Oh, please
y'all.
do.
We have got to have Froggy come up
Yes,
Yay!
please.
and talk to us for just a moment. See, Froggy, you got to do it. John Boy is saying, please. You
Come on,
cannot
Please
Jen.
do.
refuse that.
That way I can finally get to see her. Well, I mean, I see her, but meet her, and get to
Right,
chit
Yes,
chat.
right,
yes.
right. Come on, Froggy.
Come on,
Now,
Jen.
folks, please understand I am glancing over here every once in a while and I am seeing your chats. I just really appreciate y'all talking to each other back and forth. I really do because y'all have no idea how long I have been planning to get John Boy up here. You really don't know. You really
Oh,
don't.
that's all
Okay.
right. I get to see Miss Froggy. I say Miss Froggy, but I mean to call her Miss Jennifer. That's another one that I get
Well,
to see all the time.
we call her Froggy all the
Uh,
time. So
Froggy,
Oh
okay.
Lord,
Well, then I don't feel bad. So
Lord, you can call me anything, but just don't call me late for dinner.
there
See,
there
you
you go.
go.
you
There's
hear
That's
our
that
Froggy.
voice? You hear that voice?
that's a real froggy. But see, you guys to understand, when I went to go work at the hospital, I got my nursing thing, and I went to go work at the hospital in Washington D.C. and
Okay.
I got made fun of a lot. Matter of fact, I got made fun of so bad I got teased by two different people. They come over and they was showing me how to use the elevator because they didn't think I was smart enough to use an elevator. They figured people like me didn't know. And
Hmm.
they made me feel bad, made me feel right
Uh-huh.
stupid. So I had to teach myself how not to talk with my accent.
Isn't that awful?
So
That is sad.
I
I'm
Mhm.
so
covered it
sorry.
up,
terrible.
and it takes me a bit, take, takes me takes me a minute to
There
get
you
back
go.
into my phone voice. And this is
There's
what I
that
used
voice.
on YouTube because I didn't want to get made fun of. And I figured
Well,
if I did this on YouTube, I wouldn't get made fun of or treated like I was stupid. And it's really funny when I talk to my family. If I speak like this to my family, they automatically ask me, are you live on YouTube or are you recording?
Uh-huh.
But if I go back and I talk like this, then they're like, oh, it's fine. She ain't recording nothing.
Mhm.
right. Well, bless your heart.
Yeah,
I love to hear her talk that way. I
I do
I
really
do
too.
do.
too.
I
The
love
first,
it.
I, I never knew she could talk both ways until today. I mean,
It blew
I
my
know,
mind.
I
I'm like,
know.
Um,
wow, that's a
I
It
talent.
actually
blew
had,
my mind.
I've had some people pick up on it because there's some words you just can't say.
Mm-mm.
No,
And I
Yeah.
can't cover up all the words.
Me
Like,
too.
WASH is her work worst word to say.
I can't
That
say
I can hear
water.
it every time. Every time.
I can't say water. You know, it's water.
Mm-hmm.
I wash my clothes in water,
Yep.
You
and
can't hide that word.
I'm trying to practice. God knows I love every one of you girls to death, and I enjoy each of you for who you are. But that is a talent that a few of us have. Because can you
You
see me
have to
talking
really
in
think.
French? Oui, oui.
I do. I do. But you
Child.
know, even when I speak like this, I still can't do the other. It's still washing my clothes in water.
Right.
But I can't wash my clothes in water.
Right.
Um, it doesn't come out off the tongue.
Right.
And if you watch my This Day in History, I do 2 to 3 words of the day.
Right.
And when I try to pronounce them, you can kind of hear it. So, yes, people have contacted me and said, that's not your real voice.
Is
And I'm
it?
like,
See, I'm not that bright. I don't
no.
pick up on things like that.
Oh,
That
honey,
good.
you is that bright. I don't want to hear none of it. I think the Southerners with the accent and the country accents, I think we's brighter than everybody else.
That's right.
I
Well, I
think
went
if
down
you
in a
were
bit.
around her
We'll be
very
all
long,
right. But
yeah,
I
Hey,
if
just
you
can't
Jane,
were
pick
around her
up
very
on
long,
stuff.
John Boy, you'd hear it too. You would hear it.
if
If
you
you was
listen to
around her
me
very
quite
much to hear her
you'll
talk
hear it.
all the time, you could hear it all the time. I
I'm gonna
catch
have
it
to
all
watch
the
more
time
often and listen,
because,
pay
Yeah.
attention. It's not like I don't, but
yeah,
or maybe
yeah.
it's just
Well, I think I catch it because I hear it
Right.
all the time. When
yeah.
I talk,
Okay.
that's the way I talk. I hardly ever will put on that fake voice
Mm-hmm.
at all. So I
No,
hear
Yeah.
it all the time. All the time. And
she
Right.
hears it
when
in
I
my
hear
voice
it
all the
talking, I'm
time.
like, whoops, you're going to
Mhm.
have to work on that word, bro.
Hey, Michelle, um, it's much easier for me to talk like this than it is to go the other way. I ended up talking this way because I grew up in the most southern county of Maryland, and my mother was born and raised in Birmingham, Alabama.
Yeah, baby.
And my mama didn't go to Maryland until she was 16.
Right.
So my mother's family all speaks with a heavy southern drawl. So I grew up around that. And
Yep.
there's all country speaking where I grew up.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so with the southern accent, with the country drawl, it's kind of hard
Mm-hmm.
to not speak that way. My siblings
Right.
all do. And it's really kind of funny.
Her husband talks country.
My husband's very country.
Oh,
He
yes.
sounds more country than she does.
Right.
That's because he don't have a way to cover it up.
Uh-huh.
I've
Yeah.
I've trained myself to cover it up, and he'll get on to me. He'll say, "You ain't got to talk to me that way." I'm like, "I'm
Ain't that
sorry, I
right?
got
I
into
like
the
that.
mode. I get into the mode of the video voice or phone voice, and it's hard
Uh,
to
Mm-hmm.
not."
She hardly ever lets loose and talks with her real voice. When
Yeah,
she does, she's usually pretty hot about something.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
mad or I've been drinking.
Usually.
Yes, Nancy.
Uh,
That is right, Nancy. That's right.
When I
Nancy
first
says
started, go
people
ahead.
just have nothing better to do than to put others down. If you don't love it, just move on and be quiet.
that's
Amen.
right.
When I
That's right.
first started talking this way, it used to hurt my throat, but it doesn't hurt this way. It doesn't hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm okay with it now. But I
It
have to get
does
back
take
to
it.
doing this. I have bingo.
You do have to. You have to make yourself talk a different way
Right.
Yeah.
than what your mouth and body are used to saying.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to say something in a voice that ain't yours
Right.
or an accent that ain't yours, if you notice, you'll sit up straighter.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
Your
You're
active
preparing yourself. Yeah.
about
I
what
do.
you're saying. Really thinking about what you're saying, trying to put your point across that everyone can understand what
Hmm.
you're saying. And I try to watch what I'm saying if I'm on my channel and I'm recording a video because I know a lot of people don't understand when my accent is really
Excuse me.
thick and heavy.
Hmm.
So I try to not be
Hmm.
that heavy, but I'm
Right.
still
Mhm.
very country, very southern
Right.
Yeah.
in my accent. Whether I say the correct word or not, I'm always going to be country,
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
period.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
people do treat you as though you aren't as intelligent.
Right.
Um, I noticed that going to the doctor's office and the doctor talking way down to me and dumbing it way down.
Right.
So even when I go to the doctor, I talk like this. So they
Uh-huh.
don't dumb it down as much because I'm not an idiot. And they know what my work history was, but they would dumb stuff down even further. And I find it extremely insulting, with my degrees.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm not an idiot. And I don't like the fact that they treat a lot of people with the country or southern accent like we're idiots, and we're not.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Do you
That's
ever
totally
experience that, John Boy?
discrimination.
Yeah.
100.
Right.
I
Do you
mean,
ever feel
it's
that
no
way, John
different.
Boy?
Well,
Hmm?
no, not really. I mean, to be honest, no, not really. I'm just John Boy because I've tried to act professional and try to speak bougie, but I don't know. It really doesn't bother me. But now that I've listened to Jennifer's story, it's like it's no different than the discrimination of a man's skin than
Right.
with their language. That's
Right.
sad, you know. I mean, because
It is.
now, but like, if y'all don't mind to share, if me, I have a little story just to share
Yeah.
No, please
Go
to
share.
ahead.
relate.
Please do.
Uh,
Please.
Back in 1998, I no, it was 1998. I left nursing. Okay,
Hmm.
and I went into something that I always wanted to do was to wait tables. Long
Hmm.
story short, I was
Oh,
from Kentucky. Yeah, I loved waiting tables. I waited tables for 14 years and absolutely loved it.
Oh
That was my
my
calling.
wow.
God.
I loved being a waiter. I loved it. But when I crossed that river from Kentucky over into downtown Cincinnati, now I was in a different culture. I was,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
basically,
You got a
I am totally
whole
not
new
racist
world.
at all. I'm totally not racist at all. And I had to learn quickly the language. And it's not a language, it's just, I don't know, you girls may know the word for it. I had to learn Ebonics because
Yes.
I worked with a lot of beautiful African American people that were hard workers. And that's,
Yeah.
because they stereotype people. And, I wasn't afraid. I wasn't afraid.
Y'all keep going.
They'd every once in a while say, "Hey there," but they only would say it out of a joking way. But those
Right.
people were so kind to me, or unless they were making fun of me, and I was just so ignorant, I didn't know. But yeah, but they made me feel so welcomed. So I had to pick up on a few of their. I had no idea what
No.
dipping was. I had no idea what
No.
because I picked up some of that language, like
Some of their dialect. Yeah.
some of their dialect and some of they're just so cute to watch. I just sit and look,
What is
and
dipping?
that's where I get girl because a lot of them ladies.
Oh, yeah.
The black sisters or African sisters, they call each other girls, and that's where I picked up when I say Miss Jennifer or Miss
Hmm.
Connie because in I guess it's okay to say the black community, that's a respectful
It was a respectful
address.
thing.
And I picked that up because we worked with the lady. I loved her so much. She was a black Christian lady and she was Miss Something. She always handed us out Bible tracts. And at that time
Oh,
I was not living a life. pleasing unto God, but she'd always hand me one. Oh, Miss Myrtle. She was our salad bar attendant. And
Oh, goodness.
and everybody called her Miss Myrtle, and I wondered why they called her Miss Myrtle. She was married. I didn't get that. But
Right,
that's just a respectful
Yeah.
address in
Yeah.
that culture.
right.
Just like my pastor was saying the other day, he's like, if you go to a different country, because he was a minister in Ecuador, and he
Oh,
had to learn for them to listen to the gospel of Christ, he had to learn their idioms, their cultures.
right.
He can speak Spanish, boom. I mean, from he can go from English to Spanish just like that. He's
Right.
bilingual, and he learned that down in Ecuador. And he said, "You will pick up some traits,
Oh,
and
yeah.
some,
Oh, you
and
do?
yeah, you do." And he's like, "You will pick up what they eat." And he says, "If you're going into someone's country, basically what he was saying, don't disrespect. If
No.
they offer you something to eat, you eat it no matter.
Right.
Don't just no questions,
Right.
because you're the one that went there."
Mm-hmm.
So that's true. So if I come to Texas and Maureen, you take me out to dinner, you give me some food, I'm not going to question it. We're just going to eat and have a good time. So I'm not going
Okay.
to say that Texas food's terrible because I'm sure it's all right.
I
Well,
think you'd
you
love
don't
it.
have to worry about frog legs from this girl or rattlesnake or what else is it my husband likes to pull on people? Um, Possum.
Uh, oh, roadkill,
Yes.
huh?
Road.
Road-
Almost. Yeah, just about. My husband's
Now,
part
is that
Cajun.
true?
Hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
Well,
they
I ain't going to
eat.
down a man on what he eats, but
Amy
hopefully it's
McCatney.
got a little seasoning going on in there, to
Oh
cut that
yes, yes,
gaminess.
yes. But there's a lot of things that this little country girl won't eat. I'll stick with my veggies. Thank you very much.
Right.
Oh,
Connie's starting a fan. We was talking about Texas food. I was thinking hot sauce. I mean,
now, I'm hot because I'm coughing. I'm
no,
trying not to cough so much.
Oh, my.
Oh,
oh, bless your
I've,
heart.
I've, I've had
No,
a
and
bad time of cold for 2 weeks now. It's about to kick my rear, I think.
mm,
oh, God love
mm,
you.
mm.
I'm trying not
Oh,
to
Miss
Well,
cough.
Jennifer,
I have a
that's such a
question
touching
for.
story.
Oh, thank you. I'm
That
okay
is
with it. I've
good. Good.
still continued to do it. I don't go back to my regular voice on my channel because when I started my channel, I did my phone voice.
right.
And
Yeah.
if I go back to my normal voice, then people who've watched my channel or go back through my videos and watch my channel, I may be considered making fun of the country southern accent
Mm-hmm.
or in some way considered a faker or something like that. So
Right.
I will stick with my phone voice on YouTube. And it's
Well,
okay that people
it's
know I
got for Froggy. It's easier for you to talk like that than it is to use your real voice.
Yeah.
not
But
always.
you've talked that way for so long now.
I
Yeah.
have talked this way for so long,
Yeah.
So,
but I go back
mean,
and forth.
you could do
Now,
that to your real voice now.
if
Mm-hmm.
I
You know?
if I get upset or angry, the other one comes out.
Yeah, it
Right.
slips out every now and
It,
then.
it slips out. I can't help that. I
I
have one
got
question
tickled
for
now you
John
said
Boy.
that.
Yeah, boy, it slips out.
Let,
Mm-hmm.
let me
Well,
have it.
um,
Let her rip, Tater Chip. Tell me
do
all about it.
people give you a hard time for crocheting because you're a man?
Um, Actually, I think I give myself a harder time. Um,
Why?
because where I am a man and it's stereotypically for a woman, but I so enjoy it because I can totally start a granny square and be done in no time and don't even know how many rows I got. It's just that
Right.
relaxing.
Right.
Well, the
Um,
original crocheters were men. Just
That's
so you
right.
know, it was
yeah, I
originally a man's craft.
wasn't it of Ireland descent, Irish
Mhm.
descent. I mean, back in the
Mm-hmm.
day, I think that they had like basically it was men and women making
Right.
Well, it was men
doilies, or
first, then
was it
women,
women?
men,
Yeah.
then
If
women.
you think about
Um,
it, though, it goes all the way back to Jesus Christ because the fishermen wove their nets.
They
Yep.
wove their
yeah.
nets.
Yep.
I mean, they were working with their hands.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
they were
it's still
crocheting
the
nets.
same. It's the same concept.
Principle.
The knots and the twists and the
Hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
it's the
Yep.
same
Yeah.
concept
Well, see,
as,
But
my
don't
as
give yourself
crochet.
a hard
yeah,
time.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
Suzanne.
No, well, I just, actually sometimes your family members can be your worst critics.
Right.
My
Oh
aunt,
my
my
gosh.
aunt Jaylee, the one who taught me to crochet, her son.
Sorry, guys. I'll mute. Y'all go ahead.
You're fine. No, anyway, her son was kind of like a redneck all boy type guy,
Hmm.
and anywho, I was kind of always like soft and feminine, which is fine. I've accepted my femininity. No, I'm just
Hmm.
joking.
You
But anyway, anywho, what was I going to say? Lord have mercy, I'm short term memory loss. But anyway, no, I'm okay with it. But I think it's a stereotypically for a woman to crochet.
now.
Oh yeah, yeah. But my aunt Jelly told me not to worry about it because she told me, she said a lot of the Major League Baseball players back in that day
Hmm.
would crochet to
No.
keep, especially the, what do you call him, the pitcher.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yes,
the way they would keep their muscle tone in their hands so it would help
that's
them with the
correct.
fast pitch.
Hmm.
So I took that as an okay, a thumbs up, as we'd say.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I don't let that bother me. I crochet. I know some of my people in my family, they're just ignorant.
Hmm.
Ignorance is bliss. I mean, because I'm working with my hands, it's no different than woodworking if you want to look
Nope.
at it
That's
like that.
That's
exactly
Because to
correct.
be
right.
honest, if I had the
Exactly.
money, I would be a woodworker. Now, I
Right.
love to sand. I mean, in eighth grade, I took shop.
Hmm.
The guys had shop, the girls had
Oh
home
yeah.
ec. That was
Yeah,
back in the day. I
Right.
Oh
really
yeah.
do believe boys should be taught how to cook because
yeah,
boys are going to be single until they get their mate.
That's
yeah.
I
That's
right.
right.
just,
And they
I
gotta
mean,
eat.
yeah, they got to eat instead
They
of
gotta
eating
eat.
junk food. And some of your world's best chefs are guys. I mean,
That's
and
Oh
right.
gosh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
that
I,
is
I
right.
can sit and watch men and women cook. It don't bother me, stuff like that.
Yeah, but
But
I don't see anything wrong with learning both. Men and women should cook. Men and
no,
women should be able to do
no.
laundry. Women should be able to change their own tires and check their
Yep.
own
Yeah.
oil.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, just for the safety sake of it, you girls are out on the road on, say, a business trip. You
Hmm.
you you break down, there's a flat tire, you not only need to learn a little mechanics, you need a little what is that, self-protection help? What do they
That's
call
Yeah,
that?
right.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Self-defense?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Because if you're a single lady, you are a target for maybe something bad happening.
That's
yeah.
That's
right.
right.
But
That's
That's
right.
right.
because
It all helps.
I have a cousin. I always pump her gas. She's home today. She's a school teacher, and I pump her gas, and I think it's because she don't know how. Which I
Oh
love
no.
to pump gas. I
Right.
love to pump. I mean, I just get out there and get that nozzle and pick that grade of gas, and I'd be like, you know, I used to like to sit and hold the nozzle, hold the hose. But I like those little things. You can do all kinds of things now where they have a TV there. They put a TV at
They
on the
do.
gas pump. They do. So I,
I
I
know
put
it.
that little what do you call that little thing that catches it in that gas and
Mm,
runs down
That
Oh,
little
the
into it?
little
flicker
hook
thing.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I love those now. They've had them forever, but I just
Right.
now recently like that since they got the TV. So I sit, because she's always on E when we fill it up. So it takes a while to get in
Joking.
there.
Be
Girls,
like
now
me and
that's
stick the gas cap in there when it's broken. When it's
oh bless you.
broken, I stick the gas cap in there so it just keeps on pumping. Just saying.
Oh, there you
Yeah, I
go.
can't
There you
drive, but
go.
I'll still pump gas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Oh,
girls are
how
going to drive,
funny.
and I think it's awesome for girls to drive. They need to drive as well as guys.
I'm
Uh,
blind. They don't let the blind drive anymore.
well, bless your heart. Well, you know what I mean. I'm all for you, girls.
She
I'm
can
all for you,
remember
girls.
driving.
I
Well,
do
I'm sure
remember
you
driving.
could. Awesome.
It's
But
been a while.
there's some things you girls need to know about a car.
That's
It's
right.
not
Oh yeah.
it's not all manly. Yeah, most men do
No.
auto mechanics, but now I've seen some awesome female auto mechanics too that are pretty good.
Well,
They
did
they
you see
Yeah.
Jenny
I've
T just commented, I can change engines.
There
See.
you
who
go.
did?
Jenny T.
JT.
That's right.
Shut up. She's gonna
Yeah,
have to
Yeah.
teach
that's
me.
what I say.
I'm
Honey,
telling you.
daddy taught me how to change No, my son-in-law taught me how to change spark plugs for the first time about 2 or 3 years ago, and I thought that was just awesome. I mean,
I think it's great.
I got so tickled at myself. I was like, "Oh, can we do it again?" We just put new ones in.
Yep.
What do you want to do it again for? I'm like,
That's
Yeah.
just
right.
when can I wear these out so you can show me how to do that again? You know, he has
I
such a
think
dry
it's great.
humor.
Well, I guess probably my earliest memory of doing something with my dad, he had an
Yeah.
old pickup that he was working on, and it was I don't know what brand or whatever, but it was a big old truck, and
Mhm.
it had a big old hood on it, big wide hood, and it was one of them that lifted way open, And he was setting up in the engine part of that truck, working on it. And the earliest memory I have is walking up the front of that truck and getting a hold of the bumper and climbing up and asking my daddy, could I help him? He said, why, yeah. He set me right down beside of him in that engine compartment there, showed me how to do everything he was doing.
Mhm.
You can't do that anymore because they've got so much.
You couldn't get in one no more.
No. Mm-mm. Nope,
You
nope,
wouldn't have
nope.
your fingers in there, let alone your feet and legs.
Yeah,
Used to you
Mhm.
could,
yeah.
but you can't no more. But
Well,
he
guys,
told me later on that I needed to know how to do all that stuff because, they might not always be a man around or anybody else
yeah.
around for
John
that
Boy,
matter. You
John
need
Boy,
to
will
know
you
how to
come
do that
back?
stuff.
John Boy, will
Well,
you
excuse
come
me,
back
honey.
to the Southern Sisters?
Oh, sure. I don't mind at all. It'd be
Yeah.
fun.
Awesome.
You girls are
Awesome.
very pleasant to talk with. Yeah.
Oh, well,
We
we
Oh,
would
might actually
love
get
it.
around to yarn before we quit.
You guys are awesome.
what's that?
I
Get
said we
around the
might get
yarn. Oh,
around to
I've
yarn.
crocheted one Christmas. I know.
I'm
I
gonna.
know.
We've talked about
Speaking of
everything
yarn,
but
I've got
yarn.
enough. Believe me, from all
Oh,
Oh,
my
no, you
subscribers.
can
Oh,
never, ever,
that's
John
what
Boy, have
Mm-mm.
enough yarn. Yeah.
I'm
that's
gonna
what
drop
someone
John
told
Boy's
me. I
link
can never
one
have
more
enough.
time.
Yes. If you don't
Well,
have
thank you
John
so
Boy's
much.
link, lady, you are
you are
missing
missing
a
it.
blessing. There is
That's
so much
right.
on his channel, and just to sit there and listen to him talk to us, whether he's on a live or not, guys, I can't wait each day to
Oh,
see what John Boy has put up. I honestly
Yep.
can't. Don't
It's
always
interesting.
well,
comment, but I'm always there watching you, John. Really am.
Yep. Now that's me too.
right.
I don't leave comments, but I always thumbs up
Yep.
and I always watch all the way
Yeah.
through.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know,
Well, I appreciate it. I really, really do.
just
Well,
cause I didn't comment don't mean I ain't seen you.
that's right.
That's
That's right.
right.
That's true. That's true.
Mhm. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I ain't watched the video. I ain't missed a video or a live yet. Just saying.
hmm I love
There
John
you
Boy.
go.
What Rita just said. She said, "John Boy, you saying that you have enough yarn is like cursing in church."
That's right.
It is.
Well, I guess I don't want to do that now, do I?
No, no, no,
Ooh,
no, no,
ooh.
no.
Now I do find myself not having the right the color I need. Let's put it
Right.
like that. I'm sure
Oh
you all
yeah.
been there. I'm like,
What
what
Mm-hmm.
am I
what
gonna
what
do?
color's
You
in
know?
your mind?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't cross your eyes and hope for it because that ain't gonna go
Nope.
Yeah,
nowhere.
I
You
hear
gotta go to
you.
Walmart or
We couldn't. It'd
Well,
be
so
all right. I never would have to go nowhere. I just
well, y'all,
we'd
I
be
could
there.
sit here and go on another hour or so, but I know that Carrie is waiting
Oh
on
yes,
bingo, and it is
yes,
oh
bingo
God.
time over at
Yeah.
Carrie's house. So we need to
Bingo
yes.
all
day.
jump off and get over there real quick because I know that there is a certain
Oh
lady in this live who does not enjoy missing her bingo or it being
Heck
late.
no. She
Yep,
pitches
yep,
a hoodoo fit.
that's right, she does. So,
Woo.
I always like to say, be the light out there in the darkness for someone today because you never know, might be your light that they need to see. And folks,
That's
thank you,
right.
thank you, thank you so much for being here. I'm sorry we didn't follow you a lot in the comments, but I know you ladies, you gentlemen, all of you are so sweet with keep it going in your chatting over there while we're chatting over here. So thank
Yep.
you very much. Froggy,
Mhm.
thank you so much for
Thank
coming up and
you.
You're
You're
quite welcome.
But you're just sweet like that.
that's fine. Either
Let's
way.
Let's say goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love you.
Love you guys.